Welcome to Two Nerds and an Actor, the entertainment podcast for the nerd adjacent to the nerd aficionado, where we give you bi-weekly reviews on a popular TV show and movie, where we tell you in hilarious fashion what to watch and why. This is Season 4, Episode 13. I am here with my nerd craftians, Mike Santana.
Oh, I'm Slim Thulu.
That was the easy one.
Yes.
And France Jerome.
HP Love Black.
Wow.
Did he though?
No, I am me.
Did he? That's a good question. Okay, and I am your director, Aisha Jordan. So, if you couldn't tell, we'll be talking about Lovecraft, because everyone is talking about Lovecraft. We took a break. We took a little bit of a break. So I hope you're excited about this episode.
We did.
We're back on. I actually lost my voice. So we had to wait for my voice to come back.
It was scary.
It wasn't scary. It was just like,
No,
oh
a
God,
sea
too
witch
much
took
yelling.
it. No, don't tell the truth. A sea witch took it.
You signed
It
a
is
bad
the truth.
contract.
And then I had to find myself again to like get it back. Get my land legs back. So this episode, we will, of course, be honoring the icon Chadwick Boseman after the sad news of his passing. We will be talking about how we want to honor him and things we remember and what his life inspired for us. And then we are also going to give our take on some news that has hit this past month, as well as our no spoilers and spoilers review of Project Power that happened on Netflix and the first 3 episodes of HBO's Lovecraft Country. So, big episode. We're happy to be back.
It's a heavy episode. It's a heavy one.
Definitely heavy. Heavy on all the aspects, I want to say. But then, like, what isn't heavy right now? You can't, like, talk to anyone without it being heavy. Like, hey, what's the weather like? You're like, oh, God. Oh, Corona's up. It's true.
2 hurricanes.
2 hurricanes, fire nados.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
I wish there was a partridge in a pear tree.
Nah, because
No.
partridge probably have a slingshot and aim for you during the picnic.
It's true. It's true.
They got it out for us.
All right, well, let's get into some nerdy leaks. All right, so something that's big that just happened, which I didn't know who this person was, but actor Bella Thorne just like fucked up OnlyFans for people who actually use OnlyFans for a lot of sex workers. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know who Bella Thorne was. And like once I started hearing things, I was like, okay, I need to look up who the hell this lady is and like what really happened. So I actually found an article. It was like NBC News or something like that. And they like broke down some specifics. So basically, I don't know, Mike, do you want to tell us what OnlyFans is first?
Sure, the one of us that doesn't have an OnlyFans. All right.
None of us have it, but I feel like you knew more
that is a
about
broad
it.
Well,
accusation.
you see how you insinuated by picking me, and I did it right back? All right, no. So OnlyFans, if you don't know what OnlyFans is, I don't know what the fuck you've been doing during quarantine, but basically it is a platform where I'm going to say folks can create like a channel for themselves and interact with subscribers, interact with their fans. And it's a virtual type of meet and greet where content can be posted, and usually it's behind some type of paywall. The pay structures are different per creator, per account, per person. And it's known mostly for the sex workers who are on there, but you can start up an OnlyFans with any type of content that you pretty much want. Although recently they OnlyFans as a brand is trying to shy away from being synonymous with like pay-per-view pornographic stuff. That's what they kind of want to shy away from for whatever reason.
So what happened was, I guess this actress, Bella Thorne, put up that she's like, oh, pay me $200 and I'll put on a naked pic of myself. Right? So she literally made $1 million in one day. And then the picture itself wasn't really her nude.
Nope.
So the problem, and I was like, I don't understand. Here's the issue, right? If you had $1 million as the company, it's because those people paid. So you either, give those people their money back or, whatever you have to do, the money's already there. So the problem was that all of a large number of these people asked for their money back. So it's like you get $1 million and then the way it pays out is really quickly. So within a week, they send it to the person. So the money was already sent to her. And then all these people are like, wait a minute, I didn't get what I paid for. So now they're having to basically shell out all this money back to people. So they've changed their rules. Now you don't get paid out in a week, you get paid out in a month. And they're putting a cap on how much you can charge someone for whatever you're offering.
And how much you could tip. Because
how much you can tip.
because a lot of the creators, they'll have live shows and things and folks could send a tip, a money.
Right.
They could send money. The main thing was that Bella Thorne, who is not in the sex worker business,
right,
fucked up the bag for a lot of smaller creators who were making pretty good money doing their thing and building up their individual brands and platforms on OnlyFans. So
and that's their livelihood. This actress doesn't need $1 million from OnlyFans.
At all.
And
so she basically, with her fuck up, she made it even harder for folks to make a living off of that and make money on there. She used her notoriety and everything, and then through, I don't know if she was deliberately being devious or whatever. The point was she did not deliver on what she said she was going to bring to the.
Well, there's that. She wasn't intentionally being dubious. But politically, she attempted to bring attention to the issues facing sex workers, but in doing so, completely demolished the virtual bag.
Yeah.
For the people that she says that she was trying to draw attention to and destigmatizing in her methodology.
Right. And then supposedly
white lady behavior.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And supposedly she's working on a movie about OnlyFans.
Oh no, that's a smokescreen.
Yeah.
Well, it's not, it wasn't like a smoke screen.
No. But the thing is, she probably is working on a movie about that. But then she started naming certain, I think a director or something that she was working with.
Yeah, his name was, oh my God, I'm forgetting the name because I saw it in the article.
The person who did the Florida Project.
Yeah, the person who did Florida Project.
And he was like, I ain't working with her on anything. I don't know what the fuck she's talking about.
As a matter of fact, he was like, you could go to here to help these people.
Yeah, he was literally like, no, she spoke to me and I said, you need to go talk to some actual sex workers first.
Yeah. And the thing is that
we're not making a movie.
Sex workers get so much of a stigma as it is.
Right.
And it's like a lot of people saw what happened. They see this news story and they're like, oh, they're just hating because she came out of nowhere and was able to make more than they made all this time. It's not about that.
No, it's not about that.
It's like if OnlyFans is supposed to be a platform that you could build a brand and build a space, but then somebody else comes in and I feel like she gentrified. Anyway, if somebody else comes in and fucking fucks up everything for everybody else and then she gets to leave and go and live her life.
Exactly.
It's like, fuck you, man. Why'd you do that shit?
Why did you? Because it's not even just about the money, oh, she made more money. It's about the fact that future money's fucked up.
Exactly. And there's other celebrities that have gone on to OnlyFans because of, its popularity. Like Cardi B's on OnlyFans, but she's not on there. She actually has, I think, a promote. She's one of their promo people for it, I think. Some shit. I think she did a deal with them. But the point is, she didn't go in there and use her Cardi B-ness and fuck up the bag. Maybe it's because she has a background as a sex worker. She knows how it is in strip clubs and all that. Right. Maybe she knows what the deal is, but Bella Thorne came out of nowhere and just fucked up the bag for everybody.
She did. She's just this white lady making this stuff worse for other people. My thing is, this is what she needs to do. Return the money. Give them the money back and say, you know what? This was just to make a point. I'm sorry. this isn't about changing the rules for them or whatever you got to do. You can't just put out Twitter but I was just trying to make a point.
Damage is done though, because OnlyFans doesn't want to have to process. They don't want to see this happen again, and then they have to process so many returns. That's a lot of money you got to move around at once. You know what I'm saying? So the damage is already done. She could release a fucking sex tape at this point and send it to them for free in their email. It won't matter. It's fucked up the bag.
It's super important to be clear that this fucks up the bag for all creators on OnlyFans. There are podcasts who run on OnlyFans. There's a lot of creators who making a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And the sex work stuff is super politically charged. Right. And it's important that we name that. But also in the other realm is now how do other sites who offer that service are going to react to that same thing? Because it's just having a podcast is already hard trying to sustain it.
Yeah.
Financially. So I'm curious to see how the other platforms will look at it.
Right. And there's also one last thing. It's about creators' integrity. Because she came in saying, I'm going to send you ABC, which is actually 3 new pictures she was supposed to send. And it was just her supposedly in lingerie. I have not seen these pictures. Again, I'm not an OnlyFans. Not that I'm just saying I haven't seen them, but that's what I've read. So it also brings into question, creators who don't have her name, who don't have her clout and influence an audience, and that whole idea of integrity. So basically what we're saying, if Mike said he's going to send you a new, he's going to send you a new.
Stick by my word. So speaking of, platforms changing their prices, Disney Plus is offering Mulan. So it's not, it probably will come to theaters at some point. I don't know. What's a movie theater? But it is coming to Disney Plus, I believe September 4th, sometime very soon.
September 4th, yeah.
It's September 4th, and it's going to be $30. Now, I'm unclear if that's $30 to rent.
I looked it up.
Okay.
Yeah, because I had the same question. Is it a $30 24-hour or 48-hour you can watch all you want type deal? Is it $30 and only the primary account holder could watch it?
Right. Do the other accounts get to see it?
Right. So this is what they're doing. There is $30 that you could purchase the rental. It's a rental of Mulan.
What?
But wait, no, this is what I'm saying. It's a rental because it's only viewable for as long as you have a Disney Plus account.
Okay.
So
I get that.
If you're not buying Mulan for $30 to watch whenever you want, it's as long as you have an active Disney Plus account.
That makes sense because, with Apple TV and stuff like that, that's different. You own that movie no matter what.
Right.
You have that movie, but or Amazon.
Yeah.
But Disney Plus, it's a streaming service.
Exactly.
You don't own all the movies that are already on there.
Like Netflix, right? Like Netflix.
Right.
It's you're not.
They're if we take it off, you don't have it no more.
Exactly. It's gone. So it's $30. It's a one-time fee, and you can watch it as many times as you want. And I believe any of the accounts on your joint could watch it as many times as they want as well. So, it's I would say financially, it's kind of a good deal. Yes, you're already paying for the Disney Plus subscription.
Right.
But in lieu of this being released in theaters due to the pandemic, you got to think about the bargain that is. If you have a family of 3.
Right.
And you were going to go to the movies to see this anyway, not only do you get to stay home and be safer, but you're saving a lot of money relative to movie tickets. You are.
I guess that's true. That's true. Everyone else is $30. What am I?
But look at it
why am I buying this movie for $30?
Hypothetical. Let's say France is the primary account holder of Disney Plus, and he has, let's say hypothetically, he has Mima. Let's say he has his friend Al.
Just speaking for a friend?
Yeah, I'm just saying friend. I'm just making up, And let's say,
is this your Disney Plus?
Yo, shut up. And then France could purchase it for $30, but then everybody on the account can also see it. So I think it's a bargain. Also, I read in December, it might actually be coming to Disney Plus like all their other films. So
okay.
So it's $30 for a few months of early access, I guess, to Mulan.
They're really testing the waters with this. It's nobody knows. We're in such uncharted territory with everything. It's hey, why not? Let's see how much money we can make if we charge $30. And then they're whatever, we're going to put it on there in December anyway.
What would you have charged?
Oh my God. I feel $15.99. I think that's what I would charge. Just But I guess, if I was a company, because I don't think like Disney, $30 makes sense because it's like, we got to make some type of money back from these movie sales.
It's a big movie. It's a $200 million budget movie.
Right. So, I mean, I get it. I wasn't totally opposed to it because fucking King of Staten Island was $20 to rent.
Right. And that was only 48 hours.
That.
That was only a 48-hour rental.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if people are doing that, and people watched that movie, I know.
Yeah.
People talked about it. So, yeah, I guess I'll pay $30 for Mulan.
Hopefully it's good. Well, I mean, it's definitely a movie we could review for next episode.
Oh, show. All right, talking about more of our streaming services because that's the only thing that exists in life.
What else is there?
We're back on Gun Watch, but it's called Snyder Cut Watch now. I enjoyed Gun Watch like a lot more than this Snyder Cut Watch. Like every time I talked about Gun Watch, I was like, oh my God, new developments. The cast has signed a petition. This one, I'm like, more people are talking about the Snyder Cut.
Well, I'm surprised by that, Aisha, because the Snyder Cut has been like Jason Momoa posts shirtless plea
I will
to
watch
release
him,
the Snyder Cut.
but I could watch that on mute. Like I don't need to hear him
That's
talking about
true.
the Snyder
That's
Cut.
true.
Like mute, and now I'm watching you shirtless. Like
true.
all of us want. But I just feel like there's too much hype happening. Like everyone is getting so excited, and now it's being released in 4 freaking parts. God, like I'll go watch Lord of the Rings.
Listen, we're excited because we're finally seeing the promise of democracy in action.
I guess that's true.
Good Lord.
France, what are your feelings?
I'm wrong.
You sound like
you know
you're
what?
verklempt.
You dead right. You dead right. This is just one of those weird. It's just on the scale of who wants this to who doesn't or who cares enough. It just the ratio of Comics Gate motherfuckers who's all over this. It's just like I want to see this because I care about I care about the mythology and the shit, and some shit looks cool. Ray Fisher was talking a wild reckless about the homie was talking wild reckless about the homie
Whedon.
Joss Whedon, and apparently the Zack Snyder Cut centers Ray Fisher way more. Such a cyborg,
way more. He's the heart of the movie, DK.
Right. And that was one of the one of the joints that was hella missing. And then so while we had the whole sphere talking about elevating black creatives and all that stuff, when we had an actor who was in a marquee situation in a marquee movie that we never got to really see the light of day of.
Wait. So everyone was talking about the Ray Fisher thing. Is this is because he was talking about how he was treated on set and stuff, and people are like, "Oh, they're doing this for him."
What, the Snyder Cut? I don't think they're not doing the Snyder Cut for him.
But literally, like you get a 2-week span, and you get Ray Fisher's allegations. Nobody really backing him up. People actually talking it down. And then Ray Fisher posting in a Justice League hoodie, hashtag Snyder Cut, where now he's excited to actually be a part of this movie because he's barely a part of that movie.
I got you. I see. I mean, all right. I'm not super excited about it because now I have to watch it like it's a TV series.
Right.
I'm like, all right, next episode.
That is some bullshit.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird rollout for it. Like for it to be 4 chapters, hour-long chapters that are going to be released throughout the year, and then they'll put it together as a theatrical. To me, I'm like, we waited this long.
Exactly. You milking it like, oh my gosh.
Just release it as the 4-hour fucking theatrical release,
The teat is raw. Just let it go.
Wow.
Stop it.
It's too much nipple play.
Yeah. All right. So the next one with a raw teat for sure.
Yo.
We are over this one. Is New Mutants. I don't even know what to think about this.
First of all, put some respect on that film's name. It is the #1 movie worldwide right now.
It's the only movie.
No.
Right
All
now.
due respect. Fuck you. It is the #1 movie worldwide. It is a box office sensation. Okay.
In the 10 theaters that have opened in Florida.
Hey, if it made 12 million in 10 theaters, then good Lord. Endgame, look out.
Oh my
Oh
God.
my word.
Shut your mouth.
Endgame,
But,
who? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I have mad feelings about this shit. It isn't, kudos to having number one movie. But remember when they put out that last so-called trailer of, was it a 15 trailers? And it was the first 4 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
And you get that credit roll in. And it shows the Marvel insignia. And then it says, in association with Marvel Entertainment.
In ass with, come on, let's just.
Which is, for clarity, Sony, Marvel.
Might as well.
Marvel Entertainment is the wing that deals with licensing specifically. So toys, T-shirts.
So you think this
Mutants.
is like the toys that made us of our time? Like they're just trying to sell what, video games? Like what are they?
I mean, yeah, that's what that wing does, which is so strange that they would be part of this movie. It's not Marvel Studios who brings in the Oscars, but it's Marvel Entertainment, also run by as a promoter who supports Trump OD.
Okay, but so is it trying to sell me something?
It's just done. It's not done with any of the heft that you would need to tell that story properly. And I watched the first few minutes of it because I don't know that I want to pay money to see this per se. Because I saw a hella amount of indigenous jokes levied at Danny Moonstar, the main character, and that shit didn't sit right.
Yeah, so people are saying apparently that this is the worst X-Men movie to ever happen. And I was like, do we remember the first set of X-Men movies?
I was like, wait a minute, that's a high bar.
That's what I'm saying.
Or a low bar, however you want to put it.
Worst? But if you're going to be the worst of the X-Men, that's really bad.
The issues I've seen with it are the whitewashing of Sunspot.
Yeah, that shit is OD.
Oh, what? Wait, who's
Sunspot? Go ahead, Francis.
Get a mic.
No.
Oh,
No.
I got it.
He's the encyclopedia.
I got it. I'm tagged in. I feel like
Yes.
I feel like I'm a part of DX now. But
Cerebro.
let's go. Hey, I was like, but Sunspot is a character from the New Mutants and is a Black Brazilian and is a very core part of his identity and his origin story and his power manifestation. He literally turns jet black. And that's his, like, part of his power. And the Josh Boone, the director, made it a point that he's looking for somebody who could play rich Brazilian. Because that character also comes from money.
Yeah.
So we can't imagine. We can't do this. We can't put real life dark skinned people as being rich. That's not a thing.
I don't know. It was.
Does he rap? You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? I was like, so it was that whole thing like that, and then the use of Alice Braga as Cecilia Reyes. That for me is blasphemous. Not that because Alice Braga is an
Did you just
amazing
say
actor.
Blaxphemous?
Blaxphemous, yep, and I'm writing that down.
Of course.
Because, for people that don't know, we're doing this over Zoom, socially distanced and stuff. The audio distorted to the point where I thought you said Blaxphemous.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
All right.
Well, that sounds horrific. And I heard, all of this makes more sense now because, I read bits and pieces of this news coming in, and when I don't know what it is, I'm like, I'll find out what that is later. But they said that the reason they hired the actor who plays the Sunspot character was because they had, read the comic once.
Oh.
And I was like,
Houseway.
what? Who cares? Someone can read a comic. I don't understand. Why is that special?
It's dedication.
For an actor to read something?
He's a method actor.
He really internalized all of it.
That entire panel that he read. Yeah, my feeling on this. They should have put this straight in the motherfucking on demand. I would have paid $10 to watch this in my house. I will never pay $10. I would have never paid $10 to watch this in the theater, let alone during a pandemic.
Risk COVID to see New Mutants?
Yeah, no. As much as I've been waiting to see Magic on screen, Magic the character, Ileana Rasputin, and as much as I love Maisie Williams, who Bless her.
Right.
Bless her heart.
I know.
I don't know if you saw her tweet.
Yeah,
no,
I
what
did.
did it say?
Oh my God.
Get
Well, no.
She was like, I've been waiting forever for this, and I'm
she
sorry.
retweeted
No.
the joint that was like,
What you said, Aisha. she retweeted the article that said this is the worst X-Men movie ever. And she wrote, in her comment, sounds like a must see, like she was humorous
good
about
about
it.
it.
Yeah, but I feel bad because
she knew from jump that it was going to be a problem.
Well, that's the thing as an actor. Like, I always remember, I think it was John Leguizamo's Cribs episode. Where he's like going through his house. Don't worry, it connects. He's going through his house. He's like looking at all the posters from his movies, and he gets to The Pest. And he's like, when you're doing a movie, you're not like, man, I can't wait till this sucks.
You know what's crazy? And I hate to out them like this, but my nieces, Teto and Tina, who their birthday was on your birthday, Aisha, for our listeners.
Which was yesterday.
They probably rewatched The Pest about 70 times.
No way. I mean, there's people who like it, obviously, but that doesn't make it a
I would
good
not go as far to say it is the Hispanic Half-Baked. Like that cult movie that is not the primary actor's best work, but we all remember it.
Like it.
It's all I remember that movie's for is Sean Connery's birthday. There's a line. Sean Connery's birthday, like some shit like that. I got all
People
exclaiming.
remember it. It's just
You know what? And if that's not from that movie, and it's from something else, then Kat, it's your responsibility to watch The Pest if you haven't seen The Pest.
Oh yeah, that'll be everyone's Friday night rewind.
For real,
The Pest.
The Pest.
All right, so let's move on to some shout outs. Speaking of Kat, always shouting out Kat. First of all, thanks Kat Ramos for being an avid listener. But we do want to thank all of our listeners out there. People have been downloading us and liking us, so we're very, very thankful for that. And a special shout out to Bodega Queer.
On IG,
known as Bodega Queer, has actually put out a comment about our work, and we're so happy that you enjoy it. They said it was like their top 3 favorite podcasts.
I'll take that.
Yo, top 3?
I'll take that.
I'll take top 10. What?
To the bank.
Because right now we're in the top in Iceland. What is our standing now right now?
We're totally like number 50 in Iceland.
No, we are. No.
No, we were like some weird number. Like at first it was like 149th, and then we ended up moving up to like top 5 or some shit like that.
Listen,
Yes.
to our Icelandic listeners, who are obviously our most dedicated. Call is not a right. Anyway, you guys.
Yeah. Thank you for listening.
Listen, why can't you make us number 1? Okay, so
Wow.
you thought I was gonna be grateful? No. Work harder. Greenland is watching you. Okay.
They
This
watching.
is a competition.
They right across the street. Streets watching.
But thank you to everyone who is listening and doing all the things to enjoy us. I do want to also give short shout out on how you can support the people who are supporting you in all the ways. So make sure you're looking up the National Resource List, because the streets are still on fire, people. Like, you're not seeing that much on, Instagram and Facebook like you were. And if you're not, you need to tune in and find those places, because shit is still going down and shit is still real. Black lives still matter, and we need to make sure everybody knows that. And COVID is still real. COVID is still happening. People get excited because numbers are going down, but they forget that those numbers are people. You know what I mean? Those are people who are sick. Those are people who are dying. So everyone's being affected, and we need to do what we can to slow that rise or make the numbers go down faster, or help people who have been affected in terms of like losing their jobs and stuff like that. So the COVID-19 freelance artist resource, check that out to see what artists you can support. And there are 4 ways that you can actually support us. So 1 is donating. If you've been listening, you've been downloading, you've been loving it, please show your love in the form of money. It really does help us. No, because this is a job. This is work. And we do it every other week. We take time, sometimes we record like 9 to midnight, or, we're putting together agendas, we're researching, we're doing all these things. And, we do it for no money at all. And it would be nice to get paid. Like, you go to work every day, you get a paycheck. We go to work every day and also don't get a paycheck. So that, yeah.
Looking at you, Iceland.
And we have to pay
keep
our
Daryl
sound.
busy.
Exactly. We have to pay our sound editor. That's real money. Which, Daryl, we love you. You're the best. So we want to keep Daryl around. Other ways that you can help. Oh, how you can donate. That's important. Go to 2Nerds and an actor at squarespace.com so that you can donate. There's a little button at the top that says donate. Click there. You can give monthly if you want. You can give just one time, whatever is right for you. Also, do what you've been doing. Please subscribe, comment, share, like, and download. Those downloads really help us get those algorithms working in our favor. So make sure if you do shout us out, let us know, tag us, because then if you shout us out, we will shout you out in the same fashion. And then if you are a blogger, write a review. Or if you're like prominent out there on the Twitters, put, at 2Nerds and an actor and tell us how much you love us.
If you're the Prime Minister of Iceland.
Yes. Make it mandatory.
Yeah, let us know when 2Nerds and an Actor Day is in Iceland. and we will one day visit your country.
Oh yeah, actually Iceland is like so dope. My friend went there and like
Iceland is the beautiful one.
Yeah.
Greenland is the tundra.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Iceland is the nicer one.
They have
paper,
those hot
scissors.
baths that when it's not COVID, I would go to.
Yeah. If we have an official 2Nerds and an Actor Day, we'll find our way to Iceland.
Yes. And lastly, this is for those people with the money, and they want to make more money off of the people who are listening to us. Become a sponsor. We will advertise your work and negotiate a price and runtime that suits you. So if you have a company or anything that you want to get out there, we will give you that ad time to advertise with us. And we have like the best listeners. They're funny. And so if you're quirky, they'll probably love whatever you want to advertise, and we'll love it too. So give us a shout out, 2nerds.actor@gmail.com, and let us know if you want to run an ad with us. Whew, good times. So, moving on to our next segment, which you all love, our no spoilers review of Lovecraft Country, just the first 3 episodes, and the Netflix film Project Power. So if you haven't seen either of those things, totally fine. Keep listening. And if you have seen them, also keep listening. And then later we'll get into the spoilers review. Whew. All right. So I just also want to say that I have already seen the first 5 episodes of Lovecraft Country, but I will not spoil anything because it is so good, and I would never do that to someone. Like, everyone has to experience this for the first time in their lives. It's like, it's inspiring.
Mike is heated.
Hey.
We tried.
I tried. Deadlines came up, and I didn't know they were coming up. But if you want to watch them, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah.
Disney Plus.
Yo.
$30.
Lovecraft Country.
Okay.
How would we? Well, I'm sure you have questions.
I
Go
do.
ahead,
Okay.
Mitch.
So, I mean, this is a lot, but I would like to know what your favorite aspect of the show is. Whether that's the writing, directing, the performances, or the story. And without giving anything away, why?
Who's first?
It's a challenge. We'll make France go first.
The Gauntlet.
It's not going to be as hard as when we tried to do Watchmen. That was impossible.
Oh my God. I was just sweating like Jordan Peele.
I'm not giving you anything, France.
Give me everything. Man, I think my favorite part, and it hit me in the very first few minutes.
Whoa! Not your favorite part. Your favorite aspect.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
Of the series.
My favorite aspect of the world building that is Lovecraft Country. I think it's just the fullness of of every character. And that is unfortunately all the layers put together.
I was gonna say, so is that writing? I'm
gonna say
cheating.
it's writing. It starts with writing because you have to imagine the characters and write them. So it's the writing. I'm gonna go with the writing. Did you just want the writing and then end? Or
I said, and without giving anything away, why?
You get to see a character that is a full character. You get to see that in a very short amount of time, the things that you like about them, that you admire about them, things you relate to that's like you, and then the thing you like, oh damn, I don't like that.
There are quite a few moments. Absolutely.
Why do you like that, dog? Shit.
There are plenty of dams.
It was all good like a week ago.
Was it?
Literally. Well, wait, this is the non-spoiler, but before we even talk about what we like about it, there might be folks that don't know what the fuck this is.
Oh, right.
So,
good point.
Lovecraft Country, new series on HBO, predominantly first 3 episodes, a black cast.
Yes.
Okay. A great cast and some phenomenal familiar faces of previous HBO works. HBO likes to hire certain actors and actresses to show up here and there or be mentioned, and they have their own in-house people like Netflix does. This show could possibly be described as a horror pulp type or pulp horror type show.
Yeah.
From not just from a black perspective, but with a black perspective.
100%.
And the backdrop, of this series is, 1960s America. Mm-hmm. And, for anyone of color or anyone woke enough to understand.
I will quote Men in Black, was it 3? Not a good time for your people.
That's what I meant, but that's not what I was going to say. What I was going to say is the show, that's really good quote. Good reference. The show is basically amplifying the already absurd experience of being black in America, which is, especially in the 50s and 60s, promoting, the American dream and post-World War II. We did it, and who the fuck is we? And did what? And the dream for who? And what did we fight for? The surrealism of already being a person of color in America, which you probably are feeling every day as you see the double standards and the hypocrisy of that goes on with our justice system and all these things. It's amplifying that using the lens of sci-fi, horror, pulp type stories, which you don't often see people of color being at the center of, and not just, an accent added to it. You know what I mean? It's an important show in that sense, and that's the most I can give without spoiling.
And I feel like also with the horror and all that, it's, a predominantly black story, and one of sci-fi and horror that we also don't normally get to see. So a lot of times, there's sci-fi movies, shows, all those kind of things, usually from a white perspective, and then you have black people in it. You know what I mean? There's, some black things might happen, but this is for us, by us. This is it. Yeah. Which is very interesting because backstory on the show, it is based on a book called Lovecraft Country, written by a man named Matt Ruff. And honestly, there isn't much out in the world about Matt Ruff, because I was literally, who is this white dude? Who is this white dude?
Maybe it's a pseudonym.
Right. And then I was how close is the, TV show following the books? Because what if it's the books are just, average book, and then, Misha Green, the creator and writer, was flip this, it's black now. Is that what happened? But, so of course I got the book on Audible, and I started listening to the first chapter. And no, it is very close to the book. Oh. Which means obviously, Misha Green probably put in so much more of the Black experience in there than the book did. Again, I only listened to like the first chapter, but those themes and the story of what happens is there. So I was like, okay. And then you don't really know anything about Matt Ruff. I know that he's a writer from New York and he went to Cornell, but like, ugh. I was like, does he have a Black wife? Is he like activist? Like,
So you were really in depth with who this fucking dude is.
I was like, how is he writing this Black story right now? Who is you? But I'm nothing against him. I think it's a great story. And also, which kind of gets to my favorite aspect.
Oh, look who went around the bush now.
Which is the writing. I think the writing is phenomenal. Like every word, every phrase, every moment I think that's written in there creates this feeling in this world and like such nuanced characters that my mind is blown. And I just hope one day I can write such full stories as this one. I think and even that it's an adaptation, right? There's like something to go off, but to be able to bring a book to life like this and then, it being written by a white man and then being a Black woman and being able to make it so much everyone's story who has experienced these things and be a time period piece. Like, that it's going to still resonate with the people now, which is sad, but I think it's just expertly.
I cannot wait for the Spoilae.
I didn't get to say my favorite aspect.
Yeah, go. Quick. I'm done. Mic drop.
I was going to say my favorite aspect would be, it's very similar to the way you were describing the writing, Aisha.
Yeah.
So quickly after a show like Watchmen that HBO gave us,
I'm snapping right now.
This show is very layered. It's a show that because of the visuals, because of the dynamic acting performances, because of the pretty good special effects that you see, because there are some pretty good special effects so far. In the horror genre, so non-spoiler, but just letting you know. The show it's fun to watch. It doesn't mean it's a fun experience, like, because you're seeing some real shit in terms of some of the themes that are touched upon, but it's a show that is very stimulating intellectually to watch. It's not a point A to point B story with very little in between that. You're getting character development, like you said. You're getting this backdrop of, the American dream, Americana, certain places in America, like you said, a timepiece, a period piece, and all those things combine into a very interesting storytelling, a rich storytelling experience that I think invites you to engage with it.
Yes.
And because it's horror, pulp, sci-fi, at its heart, is more than that, So I think it's HBO has another Watchmen type of experience in its I don't know what to call it, in its hands, on its roster.
Yeah,
sure, those things.
100%. I'm very excited, and I also think some people felt like, man, after Watchmen and not knowing that there was knowing there wasn't gonna be a season 2, or if there is, it might not be what we need it to be. I think Lovecraft Country definitely fills that hole, and I do believe there's gonna be multiple seasons. Like, from knowing the writer, she also did Underground. It seems like she's ready to write more than one season. That's what it sounds like, or what I see it being. She hasn't like mentioned that at all, but I feel like it could.
From watching it and loving it instantaneously, but also on the heels of Watchmen, I don't need there to be another season. I want it desperately, but having not even finished the first season, I was like, but Watchmen taught us a very valuable lesson about a timely story, how it lives when you let it end.
After like season 3.
Yeah. It's different because this is a period piece as opposed to Watchmen, which was set slightly in the future.
Right.
I would say, though, that at least 3 episodes in, Watchmen, for me, was as many questions as I had.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because I had the original material, the comic to lean on, but the first 3 episodes, just as TV episodes, felt more like cohesive to me. They flowed a little bit better. Like right now, through the first 3 episodes, like I've experienced some like jarring narrative, like some for effect, but others it takes a while for you to realize, like where you're at time wise, maybe with some of the things that unfold. Eventually, it does fold nicely and make sense.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that that I could see somebody just trying to take this show in.
Yeah.
If you find yourself in moments where you're like, wait, where am I now?
Yeah.
If you find yourself having experiences like that, just know that I feel you.
Yes.
And it does eventually pay off for you.
Right.
We're not talking about a Witcher time skip scenario here.
Right,
That's not what I mean. But what I mean is, kind of like a comic book, if you will. Kind of like a comic book, if you will. Sometimes the panels don't flow, but the overall story does.
Yes.
So I did find myself with some issues in that sense. But, that's a nitpick to a show that it seems has a lot of potential. I'm enjoying it very much.
Yeah, I don't think that you're alone, though. I think everyone has that feeling. It almost feels like, and I've said this like a bunch of times in other places, that it feels like Tales from the Hood, where you're like, all of these stories, or, or for people who don't know Tales from the Hood, Tales from the Crypt, that kind of like each story is a horror thing. They might not necessarily have to do with each other, but it's like a little story you can pick out. This one's definitely more connected than Tales from the Crypt, but like each episode has its own feel. It's like each episode is its own kind of like movie. But
like that's a great analogy, Aisha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But it fits. It fits.
Yeah. You said what I was trying to say. Perfect. Thank you.
So if you didn't get it, we're saying watch it.
Oh yes, it's a definite recommended watch. Especially, but warning, because there's some gruesome horror elements to it.
Oh my God, yeah.
There definitely are. So you have to be prepared for that.
Spoilae for sure.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Oh my God.
But I don't want folks to just get into this and think that they ain't gonna. Nah, there's some bloody messes. Okay,
Yeah.
If you are squeamish to like horror things,
then
prepare
watch
yourself.
with a friend. Then watch with a friend.
Exactly, because it's a great story. But if you're gonna be like covering your eyes, no, that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
All right, so next we're going to talk a little bit about Project Power, which happened on Netflix.
Yes, it did.
Shout out to Dom Fishback, who is, I would say, an acquaintance.
Yeah.
We've met her a few times. Lovely human being, great actress, who is one of the lead characters in the movie. She plays, what's the character's name?
Robin.
She plays Robin. So if you don't know what Project Power is, it is a movie that came out on Netflix a couple weeks ago. A couple weeks ago. And basically the premise is that there is a pill that's out in the world now. It's like a drug that you can take and it gives you powers, but it's not like, oh, you can take this pill and you can fly. You don't know what the pill is going to do for you personally, because it's based on like your DNA and stuff.
Right.
So you could get any power. And the drawback is obviously you could take one and you could like just explode. So
yeah,
so
like you might be one of those side effects may include.
Yeah. And like no spoilers or anything. I feel like that's a pretty high risk in this movie.
That should have been a deterrent up front.
Like, I feel like, when people say like, oh, you take heroin, you can get addicted from just like one hit. This is like that times 1,000. You could just,
my God.
your head explodes immediately.
Yeah, glizzy in the microwave. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Anyway, yeah, you described it perfectly. This is starring Jamie Foxx as well, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
JGL.
Yeah. And it is a kind of, for folks that are familiar with the X gene in X-Men storylines, or with quirks in My Hero Academia.
Or like, what's the one in S.H.I.E.L.D. when you're a metahuman, but you get the mist?
Yeah, so about the Terrigen Mist.
The Terrigen
Mist and the what are they called? Those people?
Those are the Inhumans.
Yes, Inhumans. That's what it
I
is.
erased that part of my brain because of what Marvel did to them. But
I just called them something else.
So it's like that. And if you take the pill, you, like Aisha said, you might activate whatever your latent abilities are or whatever, and they fall into different categories. The movie does a good job of explaining what those might be, although maybe there are different ones or more, I don't know. And if you're that one in X number of people, you take the pill and you might just fucking explode.
Go into flames.
Yep.
I mean, we kind of described this earlier. We're just saying, like, where does it fit in the superhero genre? Yeah, right there with the Inhumans and the Terrigen Mist. But I think...
Oh, damn. That's what you putting it?
Well, I mean...
She did not like it.
Apparently, no. Not if she's associating it with that.
No, I'm kidding.
That's not that I didn't like it. It was that I was like, this is a movie. That's how I felt about this one. It really was like, this is a movie. I think I struggled to see why... or what it was trying to say to me. I very much enjoyed that there were Black characters that had powers, that they were the main and stuff like that. But I was trying to understand, like, what am I?
It's very simple.
Doing with this?
It's very simple. Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Jamie Foxx wanted to be in a superpower movie.
I did.
In which they got to be more of the center of it.
Yeah.
As opposed to their previous experiences. Superpower type.
I guess that's true. What was...
Jamie Foxx was Electro in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh, yeah.
And Joseph Gordon-Levitt was essentially Robin.
Oh, right.
In The Dark Knight Rises.
I would say I would say that for me, the writing... I know I'm on this big, like, writing tip right now, but the writing...
Words you are.
Well, it just wasn't there for me. It wasn't... It was tough for me.
We're asking where does it fit and what it tried to do really well. Well, let me say this. It had good intention in trying to... It fits in the local crime. If this was a Daredevil movie, I'd have been like, damn.
Right. He did say My City at one point.
He did. I mean, we're also forgetting the fact that, like I mentioned before, HBO likes to employ, it has its stable of actors, actresses that it brings in. Netflix does as well, as I mentioned. And we have to keep Machine Gun Kelly employed.
Yo, do we?
I didn't even know it was him. He was like, I think that's Machine Gun Kelly. And I was like, no. And I was like, oh.
Listen, he steals the show.
Man.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. We're going to have to go into the Spoilae for this one for you to really get the feeling. Yeah. But I feel like it's a fine quarantine watch.
I mean, yeah, it was cool. There was some really good... Some of the cinematography is really good.
Yeah.
Some of the special effects?
Yeah. Some of them.
Like, this is a better X-Men movie than any of the X-Men movies.
This is the New Mutants. This is it.
If New Mutants was like this, I'd have rocked with it.
The eventual pay-per-view fight between me and France is ever closer.
We'll use the picture we took in the boxing ring.
We will. That's a great promo
I
pic.
remember that.
You encouraged it. You're horrible. It's a soft recommend for me, but it is a recommend. If you're looking for something to watch, if you like Jamie Foxx and you like Jamie Foxx being complimented on his looks, which I'm starting to think is in his contract, because
his writer.
yeah, I feel like just like you can't kill Tom Cruise in any of his movies, I feel like it's in Jamie Foxx's contract that his character needs to be complimented on their looks in every movie he's in.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Look that up. But he is definitely flirted with in this one. So if you like seeing Jamie Foxx being flirted with,
oh my God,
then sure.
I'm gonna recommend it too. It's dope. The performances were actually great. Like the performances were great. Some of the writing was hit or miss.
I liked Robin.
Yeah, no.
I liked Robin's mom too.
Oh my gosh, who is actually, I don't know if that's a spoiler. I guess I'll wait for that.
You could just say that they are also
in Lovecraft Country.
Robin's mom. Yeah.
I won't
that's fine.
say who yet.
She's
that's
trying
fine.
so hard.
I am.
She's seen too much.
But also, we're supposed to be rating it. I remember now, because that helps people decide if they want to see it.
Oh,
yes.
right.
What are we rating it out of?
I mean, I can only think about the pills, so I was going to say, how many pills do you give it?
Yeah, no.
I mean, what else?
How about how many Church's chicken wings?
Oh, okay.
Yo,
sure.
they biscuits is all right.
I've never had them.
So not with biscuits
Note
or
yourself.
with biscuits?
And I could do
2 breasts and 3 biscuits?
Oh, they got honey biscuits. That's what it is.
I'm a fan of
We'll do honey
2 breasts.
biscuits.
I think we're just making everyone hungry now.
Oh, yeah.
Well, some people's hungry. So about 2 breasts over here.
Yeah, I heard 2 breasts. You lost me there.
2 breasts, it's a chicken. What, honey biscuits?
I say
So how
we
many-
go honey biscuits.
All right.
Okay, how many honey biscuits?
How many Church's chicken honey biscuits,
Honey biscuits.
is we giving this?
I never had them, but they sound delicious.
They do. That sounds like the movie.
6.5 for me.
6.5.
6.5.
I think I'm going to do that too. 6.5 sounds good, because I'll be real full after that half one.
I'm going to push it for 7 because the special effects were actually really good.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Cool. Well, now that you're good and hungry, we're going to take a break. You should probably go get some Church's chicken. I just want to state that they are not a sponsor,
Not yet.
No.
but they
He said
could.
not yet.
You know, if Church's chicken is listening and you want to send us a check, we've said your name 10 times.
There's not even a Church's chicken within
That's what I was gonna
300
say.
miles of us.
Yeah.
But
we ain't
still,
We ain't going to
Yeah.
that church anytime soon.
It just makes you think about Kendrick Lamar,
my folks
though.
is in Mississippi.
And
I've been to Church's chicken before.
All
No,
my
you.
life I want money and power, respect my
Oh,
mind,
whoa,
the
whoa, whoa,
definition.
and
You know,
we don't
he says
want
Church's
any
chicken.
issues out with the law, so we gonna stop right now with that.
You
Take our
can
break.
sing a song.
Stop,
You
that was a
can't
cover.
play the song. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, in that
Exactly.
case, go to break. That was
He's about
go
to do bars.
time.
That's so funny because in Project Power, there's rapping.
Look, segue into this break.
Shout out to
before
Chica.
Daryl-
All right.
Before Daryl has to call lawyers.
It's true. It's true. Okay, so take a break. Get your Church's chicken, honey biscuits,
Yo.
and
Chicken for churches.
all right, and we're back. I hope you all got the honey biscuits if you're near churches. And if you're in Iceland, a honey biscuit is a no.
Stop. They know. They
know
know.
this. Look it up. Okay, so as we are back, this is going to be, I don't want to say completely somber, but celebratory in remembrance of an amazing Black life, Chadwick Boseman, the actor who did many, many, many things, you know, from theater to film, even writing a bunch of plays. A lot of people have been talking about some of the plays that he's written, that they've directed, and things like that. Things you didn't know that he even did, which makes you love him even more. But Chadwick Boseman, more notably known around the world as playing Black Panther, passed away just like 2 days ago. I believe it was on the 28th, every 3 days ago.
Friday night.
And he was battling colon cancer for 4 years. So it was really shocking, I think, for everyone, because no one knew that he was going through this. I'm sure, close family and friends knew, but in the public eye, no one knew that for 4 years he was battling this disease and still making the most out of his life, still doing every movie. He played Jackie Robinson, he played Thurgood Marshall, he played like every iconic Black figure. He was like, I got you.
It was like the running joke, like who else?
Who's left?
Right.
Who else could Chadwick play?
I feel like in the world of like reboots, if we were gonna like do Malcolm X again, they'd be like, Chadwick?
Yeah, Chadwick could play that. Sure.
Chadwick Boseman
Chadwick
is
Boseman.
James Baldwin in Not Your
Yo,
Negro,
I would watch that. Oh my God.
a Western.
No, if they redid a Blazing Saddles,
Yo, now I'm getting even more sad right now. Like,
That's one of my favorite movies. And
I know.
man, listen.
it's sad because he was only 43, like, it's such a short time of this. But I think, in honoring and remembering him has been very uplifting. Even just thinking about him the way we just did, like, oh, he would be great in that. It makes you sad, but you still remember, like, dang, he could do anything. So what I want to ask us, instead of having our question section, is what made him remarkable to you? So, like, where did he, in your life, you were like, yeah, that showed me how remarkable he really is.
Oof. There's so much, and there's so much has come out in the last few days that it's like,
Yeah.
and maybe for me, that was it.
Yeah.
It was, without falling into any kind of ableist narratives, but there's something at the core of American Blackness, or Blackness generally, and perseverance. And not that he was able to do in spite of, but what does it take? How do you go to the well and draw up enough to push in that way, and to do so quietly? And it's not remarkable because he did it. It's remarkable because it's just not something done these days. Like, that's not a thing that is even allowed to happen. People be so in your business, you don't get a chance to be that dignified.
Right.
And I think that dignity, the fact his dignity he had, dignity he sought to protect in others, like that kind of stuff, like those things stand out to me in all the things that he's done and the things that are coming up as we learn more about his life posthumously.
Yeah. I think for me, it's all of those things too. I always thought he was a remarkable talent. Just what we were talking about, his versatility alone. And I'll be honest, I haven't seen all of his movies. I haven't seen a number of his movies, but I never in my mind was like, oh, there's no way he could have played that, or there's no way that, I guess that probably was okay. Like, I knew that, like, he was probably phenomenal, even if I didn't see it. So I think that, and his dedication, with or without any type of, disease as an actor, to be able to have a dedication to a role and the overall story, I think is something to remember him too. Because it wasn't just like, oh, I'm playing this one character. It's like, okay, but I think this serves the story better. Or, as a whole, looking at this character and this character, I don't think he would say that. Or, because he understood so many aspects of the craft, from writing to directing to being an actor. and the way he carried himself is like, I don't think you could deny him. And all the stories that have been coming out now have just like proven that to me. And the fact that, yeah, he did, have cancer and did freaking an action movie, like several action movies, just like pushed the bar even higher. Like, what? I looked at myself and I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I'm like upset because I'm in quarantine or this and that, or I want my life to be somewhere else than it is now, or I'm like, damn, Chadwick, I gotta fucking write or something. I gotta do something. This is amazing.
Well, I mean, it's hard to pick one remarkable thing about a life like Chadwick Boseman's life was to the world. But I think, especially seeing how people are sharing these unknown details, these unknown gifts that he was so generously giving to those he cared about, to those he interacted with, especially what he was going through. What I'm seeing is that he was the rare exception to that cliched phrase, never meet your heroes.
Oh, yeah.
Because it turns out that not only did he live a public life worthy of heroism, with his generosity of spirit and his creativity and his dedication to craft, all the things we mentioned, the fact that he was very purposeful with many of his most notable roles and how so many of them were either icons or became iconic. We're also learning that he was an even better person than we thought he was.
Yeah.
And it's hard to be that, living so publicly and during such a time as this with social media and all that. The fact that we did not know he was going through something as arduous as stage 3 colon cancer, which unfortunately progressed to stage 4 and eventually took his life, but never his light. What we are seeing is that not only did he trust the right people, but he was obviously the type of person who you would fight for him. You would go to the war with him. You would, and it's not corny to say that there was a regalness, there was a majesty to the way that he approached life, and it is even more apparent now how apt and how perfect it was that he got the role.
Yeah.
As the now, globally iconic and meaningful forever symbol of King T'Challa, Black Panther.
Tabernacle out here.
What? The one we just saw, Michael B. Jordan's post, he said, "Is this your king?" And I'm like, yes.
Yes, absolutely.
100%.
Yes. You can ask, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah. Somebody that's going to children's hospitals and smiling and embracing young people who are suffering through something that he himself is going through. Right. And he, as a celebrity, I'm sure that people probably said, no, you should use your platform and bring awareness. No, you should do this, that, and the other, indirectly encouraging him to play the pity card. Right. Because they probably wanted, to lift some of that off of him, because they probably saw how hard he was working and how quiet and dignified he was carrying that. Right. I'm sure for the better reasons they were trying to tell him, tell people, learn how to play that. People, But he didn't. He didn't. And that speaks volumes to his strength, man. Yeah.
Because I was thinking that too. I was like, do you think that if he had told people, like, we all could have, like, prayed for him and, like, put that energy out there, it would have saved him? But then, like, in reality, like, I don't know. I don't think so. I think that he knew exactly what he wanted to do with his life from the beginning. And then after that was like, no, I'm just going to do it all. And I'm going to keep being myself. Because it's like, think about all the things we got from that lifetime. Like, there's people who, that's like 3 lifetimes like worth of work. Of course, we just named like 8 movies we could see him in again, and it breaks your heart that we're not gonna get that anymore. But like, he gave us so much.
He was like equal parts. Like he was like Ruby D. He knew about the culture. He was really active in designing the art to make a political impact. Like none of the roles he took, none of them were accidental. They was very, very, very intentional. And the impact of each one, like even like, for instance, like 21 Bridges, I'm not really invested in seeing a cop movie, but him being attached to it, I'm like, damn, what did he do to it? What is he going to do to this role that makes me see that character as more human?
Right.
Like that's in his wheelhouse. That's something that he does all the time. And that for me, that's another one of those remarkable aspects. We heard we just hearing all this stuff about how many of the cast members Black Panther didn't know.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. But then we just learning from Ryan Coogler that Chadwick Boseman is responsible for the bury me with my ancestors line that Killmonger delivers. Because the early versions of the script had him saying that he wanted to be buried in Wakanda. And Chadwick was like, well, that doesn't make sense with the character. He's like, being a black man, he's like an African-American. He's like, I would want to, that's not a real place with my people. My real people are here in the ocean. And for him to, that shifts the whole point of the movie. It's one of the most powerful lines.
Oh, yeah.
In popular cinema right now.
Right.
But I say that to say there's something super intentional about the legacies of like Paul Robeson, Ruby Diaz, like people who took it upon themselves to join the mainstream in that way, but bring the politics with them and turn that skill and gift of the craft into something with so much impact that we're talking about them in this way, that we choose to celebrate them, remember them in this way.
Yeah. And I think that, we made jokes about how some of the Black Panther cast members seemingly got tired of throwing up the X and hearing Wakanda Forever a little bit.
I know. I was going to talk
the jokes,
about that.
But seeing, if you really take a look at the way you were talking about France just now, if you look at how, and Aisha, the way he was approaching roles as well, if you see how Chadwick was approaching these roles and how holistically he was aware of what taking on that role would mean symbolically, to others. I think it was less of him being tired of making an X with his arms,
right,
as it was kind of like Chappelle, people looking at the catchphrase or looking at the gesture, the handshake, instead of the message and the depth behind that.
Right.
Yeah. Like we're gonna see the way this dude's life impacted the world and the people he worked with,
right,
the other young black artists and out there and things like that. We're gonna see how that Wakanda Forever held more weight than we probably ever understood at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we're gonna see how there's gonna be more black creatives that try to approach things the way he did. We're gonna see there's gonna be more roles created with a depth that he brought.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're gonna see that. I'm saying it because it can't be any other way with somebody let his life like that. Much in the way that we mourn the passing of Kobe Bryant, the Black Mamba, and what he brought to the sport and what he was trying to bring into how to live a life of a young black successful man. In a way that we never seen before. In that way, we're gonna see that, I believe, with the life of Chadwick Boseman, the Black Panther. We're gonna see people, that he touched, that he inspired.
Yeah.
That, we're gonna see that too. And it's a sad thing to lose him so early, but it's a celebration because he lived a more full life in 43 years than I've seen people live 80 or 90 of theirs.
Yeah. And I was gonna say what do you think we're gonna take to continue his spirit? But I think you hit it the nail on the head right there. Is like everybody has a story with him that isn't just like, oh, I met him once at the Oscars and he was very nice. Like everyone has such a specific story to which like he touched them and they did something after. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, it's like he changed me even if it was just the 2 times I met him. So I think that is what's going to happen. Like they're really going to take that inspiration and be better themselves, which is what I would take too. Like, and all those, he really was a hero. Like, 100%.
Yeah.
Woo. All right. I'm not going to cry. We're going to move on to some more not happy things, but
Disagree.
it is happy and it's exciting. But we're going to go into our Spoilae review.
Whose turn is it to say Spoilae?
I think it's Francis' turn, actually.
Oh, I feel like I said, all right, say less. And here we go. Spoilae!
Okay. Kept it Bronx.
I think at the end they went a little bit Adele bikini there.
Can you do that? In,
Why you shaking your head?
Slap of the
patois?
beast.
Spoilae. How do you do it? In like patois. That was terrible.
Spoilae for them.
Spoilae for them.
Nah, I love it though. I need music though.
You don't like them dance hall remixes?
Let's go.
Something
Listen, maybe the Rihanna album has been delayed because she's waiting for this collab
Working with Adele.
with Adele.
100%.
I solved it, France.
Yikes.
I feel like if you don't know what we're talking about, just Google like Adele in like Jamaican bathing suit.
She living her best life. I'm happy for her.
I mean, she is, but them Bantu knots, I was like, why?
Lord.
Anyway. All right, let's get into some like actual blackness now.
Ooh.
What?
Damn, Aisha.
The layup from
Come
the
The
free throw.
Savage Fenty.
That's not lies. This is facts.
Wait.
Okay, unless she's part Jamaican, I'm sorry.
Yo, just stop going back.
Yeah, we're not gonna go. We're not walking back.
You keep Pond the River. Just keep this.
Yes.
All right, let's do our Spoilae review of Lovecraft Country. Again, it's only the first 3 episodes. So episode 1, 2, and 3. If
Yeah,
you
only.
haven't seen it, like 100% stop listening. I'm sorry. You should go watch that. Because if this gets spoiled for you, you're going to be so upset. You're going to be like, oh man, I already knew. And you don't want that. You want to you want to be the first to feel that. And we will also be doing our spoilers review of Project Power. I'm going to be honest, I don't think you can really spoil that much on Project Power. Like, if you did know a little bit beforehand,
People
Aisha,
get powers.
you'd be okay.
That take in and of itself is a spoiler.
I mean, like, not. I'm going to be like, oh, what happens at the end? Maybe you'll be upset because you'll be like, oh, well. But, like, it's up to you. If you want to, like, hear a little bit more, maybe you don't care, well, keep
All
listening.
right, let's John Denver this back to the country road.
All right. Back to the country road. All right. So Lovecraft Country. I would like to talk about first, before we get into some stellar moments, some of the deep cuts. So we saw.
I love how you want to start at deep cut.
You have to.
Yeah.
I feel like it's important. So we saw these episodes ahead of time, like I mentioned, but like we've been so excited to see them with the rest of the world too, because it's just like I want everyone's reactions. Like I want to know. Like I wish I was sitting in the room with everyone and be like, huh? What do you see? What
I'm
do
the
you
rest
like?
of the world, guys. By the way, I'm the stand-in for our listeners.
No,
Don't worry, I got
Shut
this.
your mouth.
No, trust. Like, so the rest of the world has been seeing things that I'm like, oh my God, my mind is blown. So let's talk about it.
And the whole world is Michael sitting right over there.
Okay. Number 1, episode 3 that just aired recently, depending on when you're listening to this, was, what was it called?
Holy Ghost.
Holy Ghost, where the main character, or one of the main characters, Letty, buys a house, and it's
Played
like,
by my favorite Smollett, Jeremy. We all have favorite siblings and families.
I'm gonna say it's like the world's favorite Smollett.
Well, no, I'm saying Jermaine, Steph Curry, and then, you know, which Jermaine do I mean? You know which Jermaine I meant.
Ooh.
So one of the things that happens, I guess there's also like Easter eggs, you would call it, but it's not like a comic per se. But so she's in the cop car after she's like busted out the windows and all the white people's. First of all, we'll get to that. She's busted out the windows. She's in the cop car, and the cop. I think this happened in the real one, but it might have been in like the first version. But he says, "What part? Like, what group are you of?" And he says, "Is it the Bad Monkeys?" And he's like, "Oh, let me guess, it's the National Association of." He's making fun of the NAACP
of cockroaches.
Of cockroaches, right? That term, Bad Monkeys, is actually the title of another one of Matt Ruff's books. So they just kind of like threw that in there.
Little book.
Yeah. So
bibliophile stuff.
Yeah, the writer of Lovecraft Country is another one of his books. And I thought that was cute. It's like a little cute deep cut. The deep cut.
The rest of them ain't cute.
Yeah, the rest of them are not cute. Another one, and like France can talk about more of them, but this one just blew my mind. So there's kids in the basement, right? They're playing Ouija when they're having like the housewarming party upstairs. Mm-hmm. The kids are playing Ouija. And if you look, one of the kids is wearing the exact same outfit as Emmett Till. And then he says, "Am I going to enjoy my trip coming up?" And it quickly moves to no.
Nope.
And you're like, oh, shit. Like, how you just threw that in there? Because Emmett Till was from Chicago, was on a trip, and this shit, like, I couldn't. Like, when he pointed that out, like, someone tweeted it or whatever, and I was like, no freaking way. I want to hang out with Misha Green.
There's levels to this shit. There's levels.
So many levels.
Even further levels is they never address him as Emmett. But when they ask him who's going, they call him Bobo, which is his actual nickname.
I can't.
When I did like some deep dive research, it comes out like that is his nickname that his folks used to call him.
Yeah.
So it becomes more deliberate. Not just an homage, but a deliberate he here.
Right.
And then the kid across from him, the kind of light-skinned kid with the silver butterfly collar shirt, his name is Gil. And it's like, oh, that's cool, Gil. But then you remember that Whitey on the Moon, the Gil Scott Heron piece was used in the second episode
before, yeah.
And then that Gil Scott is also from Chicago. You're like, wait a minute, the hell? It's like, she's like, Misha Green's really just utilizing Black history and Black culture to tell stories and for you to get the point and ground in the shit. Shit is OD.
But it's also like so perfectly placed, right? It's not just like, oh, we're naming this character. It's like, oh, this will be like a good homage to Emmett Till. It's like, oh, Lord.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
What I'm enjoying about the show is that those little touches that if you don't pick up on them, you still get a very engaging story regardless.
Boom.
Yes.
But those little touches that are the little nods, the winks, the guide, if you will, for people of color.
Exactly.
You know, one of the points of the show is that Tick's uncle, right, is putting together a guide.
Uncle, quote unquote.
Yes, they do hint at that in the second episode, maybe. But anyway, one of the, things about the show is that Tick's uncle is putting together a guide for people of color to be able to travel safely, know where to go, such and so forth, it seems. And there are those subtle things that you look for safety and what can you get, what resources are there available to you that aren't necessarily as easy to spot as a street sign. You have to look a little deeper. And so the show does that repeatedly. Has these little, whether it's a reference to, a Lovecraft story or, like a literary reference or music reference or historical, reference or of a moment in Black history. They're sprinkled out in a way that if you're able to pick up on them, I see you. But if you miss them, the story is layered enough, as I mentioned in the non-spoiler, that there's still a very engaging story there for you.
Yeah.
And that takes skill. That's very Watchmen-like in that sense. I think that's a fair comparison to make between the two shows.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great comparison.
Yeah. Wait, France, I think you had a couple other deep cuts you wanted to do.
Oh, there's plenty. And Aisha's favorite scene with Journey Smollett, a.k.a. Letitia fucking Lewis.
Letitia fucking Lewis.
So that scene when she busting out the windows a la Beyonce
On her lemonade.
on her lemonade flow. It's like while the actual hitting is happening, we get Dorinda Clark Cole's Take It Back playing. And these are not, well, it's dope because it plays off as a wink or a nudge. But if you are versed in any like localized Black history, that shit is OD, over the top, yelling at you, neon lights, like glang, 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 glang. That song is about retribution. It's literally just about retribution. But that's a deep cut for a song. And then actually, in the exorcism scene, that really deep exorcism scene, they playing Shirley Caesar's Satan, we gonna tear down your kingdom. And it's just, so that's just an overt being like
Foreshadowing of how that gets resolved.
Yes, but then there's another layer to that in the Black experience about yelling at Satan, and you're like yelling at a white dude who's been experimenting on Black people, and you're telling them, we're gonna tear your kingdom down.
Right.
And that shit just transcends time.
You go deep cut. I was talking about like the layer one.
There's
names and such.
There's mad of them.
Well, we don't have a whole time talking about all the music.
That was just two of the cuts.
Can I segue into that? Because I was going to mention music, but also what something that Francis said. The show does encourage you to apply a timeless lens to it of the Black experience, because they not only incorporate, I mean, predominantly a lot of the choices of the music are seemingly of that time period of where the show is taking place, but there are some modern choices of music that are more contemporary, way beyond it. Right, and which take place in future decades. So the show, by its music choice, is encouraging viewers to look at it with the full perspective of history. Mm-hmm. And that's done on purpose. Now, part of me, when I heard the first modern track during one of the episodes,
was it like when they did it was like trap music or something like that?
No, I don't think it was the trap music one. It was something else. But when that happened, part of me was like, damn, I kind of wish everything was period piece. but it wasn't until like the episode was over that I started to think about, well, why would they do that? Everything seems so purposeful. Why would they do that? And it's because you're supposed to watch this with the fullness of your perspective. Yeah. And that's kind of cool. That's a cool invitation.
Yeah. 100%.
I'll be swift with the freaking cuts.
Okay. Because I want to go into our stellar moments.
Great.
Those are going to take a long time.
The thing with the bunch of eyes in their back that was biting heads off in the first episode. They're called Shoggoths in the Lovecraft mythology. And to talk about them like vampires, but that ain't exactly it. But they also named them by name. And the only interesting tidbit about them is that race of creature were raised to be used as slaves, but in Lovecraft's books they rebel. So that could be a little seeded foreshadowing, perhaps. I was like, and then there's that whole dance with Letty and that dude at the party, whether that gets Tick all hot and bothered.
Yes, yes,
which was it looked familiar. I did the research, and it's legit Carmen Jones, with Harry Belafonte and Dorothy Dandridge. But there's a scene almost exactly like that, and in that scene, Harry Belafonte is in military uniform. Like it's like a lot of nods paid to that moment and to that actor. Dorothy Dandridge's work kind of gets sprinkled throughout the whole episode of Holy Ghost. It's wild, but that's just a few of the small ones.
I was thinking more about the names of the women that were exercised in it. He's handing me something. What are you handing?
Those are the names.
Oh, okay. So when they're looking at the pictures of people, they're like, these are the people who were like experimented on and went missing. Right. Well, she didn't know they were experimented on that point, but she was like, these are the names of the people. It was like Lucy,
Anarcha,
and Betsy. And those are 3 women who were experimented on to make what we know now as modern gynecology. So like those 3 women were experimented on so that we could like, figure out gynecology in the modern medicine. And it's like, what? Putting all these things into this.
It's ironic. It's ironic that black bodies were used to study an area of medicine that white men are still dictating all the policies on. It's interesting, huh?
You can't believe it. It's just...
There's actually a very interesting development in medicine where there are practitioners who are trying to rewrite some of the more utilized medical books and journals and things like that to incorporate, non-white symptoms and things like that. Because almost everything is written from the perspective of having a white patient.
Right.
And that's interesting.
It's true.
It's interesting.
All right, so now I want to get into what are some of the stellar moments in these first 3 episodes that you would watch again and again and again and again. Like what are those moments? Because I would say for me, I'll start. I can never get enough of the scene where she busts out the windows. Like, I will watch that a million times because, like, it was so orchestrated. He was like, they saw her face and was like, all right, get the shotguns. Ruby, get the car. Like,
they knew what it was.
Yeah, they were like, get in formation. And she busted out all the windows, all the things. They put those weapons in the back of that car. She drove off and they were like, okay, hands up. I'm on the ground. I was like, what? What's happening? Did they plan that? Did they know? What's happening? Oh my God. I felt like we watched it again today and I was like, it's my favorite part. It's coming on. I mean, episode 3 is my favorite episode. I mean, I haven't seen the whole season yet, so I'm sure that'll change, but I cannot. It's so good. When they exercise them at the basement and then they all show up, all the spirits come.
It's powerful. You call, when you call names, that's how you recall people's story back to it. That's how you like relieve a ghost to their unfinished business. And they brought a lot of black spirituality into the mix in this episode.
I may or may not have cried like 8 times.
One of my favorite moments was when they walk into the diner.
Yes.
Something's off. And I like when Letty, comes up, we gotta get the fuck out of here. I love how before they dip,
yes,
the uncle dips his hand into the mint jar. He takes a handful of mint. He's like, all right, motherfuckers, if y'all gonna make me run, I'm hungry. I'm getting something.
He's like,
I ain't got no
to be
knees.
served. I'm taking these mints.
Yeah, I love that part.
That is a good part.
I love that part. And I would say another powerful and dope part that was memorable for me was when they rescue his dad. Or not really. They don't really rescue him.
They meet up with him.
They meet up with him post-rescue, right? Just that interaction, seeing the energy coming from Michael K. Williams, right? That's his name? Yeah, seeing Michael K. Williams. I'm like, okay, he's in another HBO show. What am I gonna get out of him this time? Like I love seeing him every time he plays a role, and just that energy, that exchange, it was pretty funny. They went through all that shit. Yeah, they went through all that shit, and he got the most ungrateful energy you could possibly muster.
What the fuck you came here for? Like, who says that?
I asked you to save me.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, man.
A stellar moment for me is actually in this episode 3, Holy Ghost, when Letty is done get freaked the hell out by seeing a ghost in her photographs, and then she's at the diner getting all Charlie Day, trying to put the pieces together, and Tick comes in and he's just like,
he said Charlie Day.
And he's like, she was like, man, the house is haunted. He was like, all right, what are we working with? Tick just gets right involved.
Yeah.
No questions.
Because
like,
they've seen some shit. Because they've already seen some shit.
That's true.
And then
That's true.
top tier with Courtney B. Vance's uncle. Oh, I forgot his name already.
George.
Uncle George.
Uncle George.
And he's just like, when they're in the cabin and the sheriff is getting bit up, and then the sheriff starts to change, he turns to the other guy, sir, you need to shoot him.
Yes, I love yes.
I'd be crying.
Yeah, mad calm, like
screaming.
And
You
his
need
face,
to
he was
shoot
like,
him. It's like, sir, you need to shoot him. The pragmatist wins the day.
It's true.
God, that was peak.
I got one more.
Yeah.
When George's daughter hands him the comic that she drew.
Oh
Yes.
man.
Because we see her drawing earlier, but we're not quite sure. I wasn't quite sure what that was
privy.
for.
What was it?
Yeah, but she's like full on drawing these full little original comic stories and
the
giving it to him.
best.
And then later on over the phone, she gives like the background
Right.
of why she wrote and did the things he did. I thought that was adorable. That
I
was
did too.
that she was the first character that got my, protect her at all cost energy.
Right. Yes.
I'm like, she's the one out of this whole thing that nothing better happen to her
Yes.
at all.
We riot.
But I also think that she's like a seer. Like I think she has some sort of
Could be.
ability because again, like this is not. I've only seen the first 5 of us. So I'm not saying this is gonna happen. I don't know. But when she draws on the map, she draws in those places that she's never been. But she drew specific things. When he was like, like washing up, he's like, "Oh, we're gonna go to this town, whatever. Forget what it was called." And he was like,
Arden.
"Do you know what Dee like drew on the map in that place?" And he was like, yeah, and it was like skull and bones or something, like stay away or whatever. And I was like, how would she know that? Like, to draw what she drew on the map, like, I feel like she has some sort of like clairvoyance or something.
Or I could be the asshole and say, I think anyone would have apprehensions of going to a roadless town. You know what I mean? In that area of America.
A psychic, and that is what I'm sticking to.
The guide, 1 page by her. White people
go there.
White people be white people in, And boom, bestseller.
But that's like one thing I say that is like, I think this story amplifies the most. And I kind of had a conversation with my coworkers. Oh, drink. That like the element of sci-fi in it helps you understand how. No, I don't want to say preposterous or ridiculous. Like how intense racism really is, because. In this world, it's like, if you don't understand, right, you have this sheriff putting guns to the back of these people's heads, and you sigh in relief that massive monsters with eyes blinking on their back and razor-sharp teeth arrive.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, thank God.
Like, woo.
Like, hello. If that doesn't give you a message of today, I don't know. You don't understand.
That's one of the things that's important for me enjoying the show, because when I'm watching a movie or a TV show and they have, and I think we talked about, I don't remember what we were reviewing.
Right.
But anyway, I hate when they cast the racist white person and that actor is basically a caricature of racism.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it is so easy to fucking hate what they're doing.
You're like, oh, I definitely hate that. Yeah, that's
like
terrible.
I hate what was the movie? It was it came out recently. It was I'm gonna get it and I'm gonna come back to it.
We're gonna circle back.
Yeah, it was a famous author, James Baldwin. What was the latest James Baldwin?
Oh, I'm Not Your Negro?
No, but it was a movie that was made from one of his works recently.
Oh,
wasn't it?
Bill Street Could Talk.
If Bill
That
Street could
one,
talk.
yes. One of the things that annoyed me was the cop in that movie. It's like that scene was 8 minutes too long. We already get it. We were like, yeah, he's the most racist cop on the block. We get it. We understand.
Racist cops, we got it.
Right, but what I like is that this show, it has the racist motherfuckers. Let's get them, boys. They have them.
Right.
Fuck them guys. Look what happened to them in episode 3. But it also has the moments like you just said, Aisha.
Yeah.
Where it's like yes, exactly. These characters, these racist people,
Right.
they're the bigger monster than
They're
even
the
a fucking
bigger
monster.
I was sweating when they were doing that slow car follow.
That was a good scene.
I was like, and that's when the moment that I knew this was horror. It wasn't that I knew that monsters were going to show up at some point or there was going to be some type of extra or like sci-fi element. I was like, oh my God, they have to get over this town line.
Yeah.
Having lived that experience a few times, being followed closely by police in a speed trap, I was legit. My palms were sweaty.
Yeah. I was
Arms
like, oh
heavy,
God.
knees weak, all of that.
Mom spaghetti.
I was, yeah. It's the same point. For me, that was one of those moments of production where you're like, yeah, Jordan Peele definitely had a hand in how to relay this visually, because damn it.
Which I think that the music too, that's like his MO, right? He obviously has a style that's shown in this very well. Especially I think we see in episode 3 and from trailers, some episodes coming, I think. But putting that element of the modern music and like twisting it or distorting it or making it, mix with what's going on, I think like Jordan Peele is so good at that. Like the way he does it in Us and Get Out, you're like, oh, this is a Jordan Peele thing. It's happening.
And Candyman.
Oh my God, I know.
Did it for trailer of Candyman.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good show. Highly recommend it. It's, with the gore violence stuff, it's going to pop up. So be prepared for that. But I think that's part of the experience. The racism is much more terrifying than than anything they've shown so far. And
Jonathan Majors is a beautiful man. I'm just going to put that out there. Beautiful in all the sense. Well-rounded character.
Aisha likes his butt.
Beautiful butt.
You have to read between the crack.
A beautiful... It's like HBO knows how to film a butt. Because I didn't like Kit Harington's butt. And then it was like, HBO, here's the angle. And you're like, oh, shit, what? What's that?
The VFX team.
It's amazing. Good on you, HBO. Anyway. All right, I know we have other things that we need to get to.
Project Power.
Project Power. We're going to do a quick spoiler, I guess, of this one.
Yeah, there's not much to...
There's not much.
Yeah.
Not much to spoiler. Okay, so my questions for this ones are pretty easy. Was it too on the nose? And what really was the takeaway for this? France, I'll go to you. I feel like that was getting like a news. So we get to France, who is live on the scene.
Thanks, Aisha. Well, let me say, this is what happened, and this is the tone I'm using. It was.
Was it too on the nose?
No.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't too on the nose, but it wasn't too on the nose because it was on the nose. Yeah. It was on the nose, and what took away from it, the way it may have felt like it was too on the nose, was the lack of local talent being used. Because it was filmed in New Orleans. New Orleans is like a character in the freaking story, which is amazing.
Right, they do a lot of the Saints, right?
Yeah, the Saints. There's some prominent that Popeyes is in the shot. There's like not Bourbon Street itself, but a lot of the adjacent avenues is in it. Mm-hmm. Cool.
Hurricane Katrina is not directly referenced, but it is alluded to strongly.
It's alluded to, yes. Mm-hmm. I was like, there's that. There's that. The you feel like the soul of it is there, but it's not exactly there. The accents our main performer was putting on was alright, but it's not grounded enough to be New Orleans because then if someone from New Orleans says some of those things that relate to the core theme, it would have had a whole different spirit to it, a whole different soul to it, would have made it feel good.
What? That is, I agree 100% with that. I wasn't thinking about that at fucking all because the movie didn't give me enough for me to care or think that deeply about it. Whereas Lovecraft Country invites you to think critically. This movie did not allow for many of those moments at all. Yeah, I think it would have spoke much more. Like they made such a point of it being a regional thing. Like don't fuck with New Orleans. You're not gonna do this experimenting with these meds in New Orleans.
Right.
But you're right, France. That it didn't feel like New Orleans was saying that.
Right. Yeah. It was like the
all.
performance of New Orleans.
Yeah, it's like if they made Fargo, but all the
Studio Lot
accents,
B.
but all the accents were like from South Dakota.
It's a little off.
Yeah, like where are we? You know, that's a great point. It would have hit different. But no, Jamie Foxx, I wasn't kidding by my non-spoiler take on that.
Yeah.
I think the two of them just wanted to be in a superhero thing.
Yeah.
And be able to do superhero powered stuff.
Well, I think, right, so Joseph Gordon-Levitt, that's his name. I always say a different first name. He produced it, right? I think he was a big
Hit
part
Record
of
was a part of the process.
Yeah, it was like his company. So I definitely feel like it was, I don't know if it's like a passion project, because I think he does a lot in, the film industry, but I think it really was. Yeah, he does a lot. So I think this probably was just like, a fun piece that he really wanted to do. So it would make sense to me that he's like, hey, let's do one that excites us. Why not?
Yeah. And like he was likable and Jamie Foxx was likable and Robin was especially likable.
Yeah.
The villains, not so much.
I didn't quite care about them.
Yeah,
I feel like it was more about the pills than it was about the actual villains, because it made it seem like anyone could be a villain. I didn't see anyone like taking these pills to go like stop a bank robbery or something, or like I'm gonna go, take down this murderer now that I have like ice powers. I don't know.
Like the movie is about powers and stuff like that, but to be quite honest, I wasn't anticipating. It never caught me in a moment like, ooh, I wonder what their powers would be, or I want to see a power battle fight. At no point was that the most interesting thing. To be honest, the most interesting thing was Robin in school. I would have paid money to see a movie about
of her in school.
Yeah, no, I'm dead serious. Of Robin in school and her wanting to become a rapper or whatever.
You just wanted it to be an anime. That's just what it was.
Well, yes, because
I would watch that.
It doesn't break any ground in what it's based on. Like the whole idea of activating powers.
Yeah.
We've seen that 1,000 times.
Yeah.
The only interesting kind of wrinkle to it was the fact that a character like Robin was, like caught up in it.
Right. She's like the drug dealer.
Yeah, but I don't care. They could have made the same movie with no powers and she was slanging dope, and it would have still they could have still made a good a movie from it. They could have it would have been a better movie, I think, actually.
It possibly could have been, because there, like I should just reference the movie Dope had that.
Right. And that was fun to watch for sure.
Oh, and one last thing. Whereas HBO is great at filming asses, Netflix is terrified of penises. Because,
what do you mean?
MGK, Machine Gun Kelly's character burns all his clothes off.
Oh, right, that's true.
And is running right at us, yet there's no penis going. Not that I was anticipating a penis.
A flaming one at that.
But what's funny, I didn't even notice that I didn't see a penis.
Right.
Until the bank robbery scene, and that dude is running around butt ass to camouflage. And again, no penis.
Yeah. They were like, we don't want to go that far.
Then shoot it different.
Yeah, that's weird.
And so, and the takeaway remains, there's something powerful about localized storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Like,
all our segues have been elegant. That was not, but go ahead.
He's like,
I don't do elegant segues.
Talking about penises, we really have to get to the point of
I want to talk about
elegant storytelling.
Penis.
Localized penis.
Localized. They should have used penis from New Orleans, is the point.
The penises in your area.
They didn't source it right.
But this is the powerful about localized storytelling. When you actually get that shit, and when the city or the locale becomes a character, the shit pops.
Yeah.
Well, I think that, for me, I feel like it was too on the nose. I'll say this quickly before we go into our coming soon. It was too on the nose for me because it was like immediately you're like Henrietta Lacks. The daughter is being used to make medicine for the world, and then we're going to experiment on lower class, people to see if it works. So, that kind of thing. And then they mention her, she goes, are you familiar with it? And I was like, really? I think we got it. Yeah. So for me, it was 2 on the nose. And then I like what you were saying, a takeaway. I forget what you said it was, but I agree that it's like, it's about the localized stories and how do we bring that out. And for me, the real takeaway was about it. We can have these stories that are like Black people having powers or Black centered stories. And it's not about like them being Black or like, oh, they're having this Black experience. It's just like, this shit is happening to these people in this place. And it's cool. They have powers. They can do this shit.
I didn't watch the Michael B. Jordan Netflix joint with the
Raising Dion.
Yeah,
we didn't finish it.
I didn't. I gotta go back and watch that. But this made me want to go back and watch that because you're right. I want to see stories of people of color represented. I want to see all that in these genres where where we're underrepresented. But I'm hoping that one is a better experience visually. Like as a narrative.
That's so funny. It's like this movie gets you excited to watch this other one.
Sometimes it's like that.
Yeah. It'd be like that. But yeah, in the end, it wasn't that I didn't like it. I think it was just it was a good Netflix movie.
We gave it favorable scores.
Right? Yeah, it was interesting. All right, let's go on to our coming soon. There was some trailers that came out that DC's at it again.
DC fandom, they had a huge online event where they showed a bunch of upcoming shit.
A bunch of shit. And then some of it, I was like, wait, is this a video game? What is this?
And the answer was yes.
It was. Yes, it was.
Yeah, they showed several of those.
All right, so let's start with the big heavy hitters because people literally messaged me or asked about this as soon as the trailer came out. They're like, what do you think? I really need to know. Batman. Which is the Batman.
The Batman movie?
Yeah, Batman.
The Batman movie.
Oh, no. Whoa. He's adding these to the Bat. Oh, my God.
The Batman.
Batman the Stallion.
Oh, my God.
No, that's Blaxphemous.
We're not naming it that, though.
That's Blaxphemous.
It is. It's I can't say it. Blaxphemous. What is that? Blaxphemous Prime? Is that what I just said?
Transform and roll out.
Right. Okay, so it was a teaser, right? That came out with.
They've only shot 25% of this movie.
Yes, they have.
Sorry, it's hilarious.
Yeah, they got this teaser from only 25% of the film.
Why?
Because of COVID.
But why did they put out a teaser?
Because we need it
for money.
Guys, this movie is not happening. Why are we?
What do you mean it's not happening? Of course it is.
This is hilarious. All right, 2025.
No.
The Batman will come out.
Actually, if you saw the trailer, it was $?0?1.
Yeah.
So it could be
30, 31.
0 question mark. That's what they should have done. Because who really knows? Okay. First impressions for me. Obviously, it looks like a good movie. Okay.
I love this, man. I don't know where you're going after you describe something. I never know.
You gotta keep people on their toes. Turn left. But it looks like a good movie, right? You sit there, and I think that DC shoots out some type of pheromone during their trailers, and then you're like, oh my God, I'm so attracted to this trailer. And then you go and look more and you're like, I just got catfished. I got catfished by this trailer and this is a different movie. So I'm not excited yet. I can't be. I've been catfished too many times.
Okay.
Fool me once, Okay. And I will go every time. But I think his Batman is interesting. I really like his suit, but he looks very emo. I think it's just emo Batman.
Yeah, I'm digging how he looks as the Batman.
Right.
But his Bruce Wayne look, I'm like...
Hot Topic. He gets his suits at Hot Topic.
Yeah.
And his nail polish.
I like that Riddler is riddling. I like that. I keep hearing, the director and people that are involved in the film are saying, think of this movie as Seven, but with Batman. And I'm like, yes, that's what I want. I want a detective thinking Batman.
You think they could deliver that?
With this cast, it's looking like it.
Yeah, with this cast, with that director, and by the teaser, yes. You're still going to get the now talk Batman where he beats you to fucking, half to death and then asks you to articulate who your boss is when you have no teeth left. You know what I mean?
He bitch slapped that guy with his fists.
Yeah.
I was like, dang, he's still slapping
off of who are you?
Knuckles. Yeah.
Not even mid drug deal. Just who are you? Like,
who the hell is this guy? Ah!
Yeah. Blocka.
Into the dirt. There's hope for this film. If they do this right, we might get a detective thinking man's Batman.
Right. Not a Batman who gets fucking stolen by Wonder Woman.
Yeah, man. Yeah. We got to get is Zoe Kravitz?
Yes.
Oh right, she's Catwoman.
we gotta get her a mask. She's wearing the Scully with the no.
Yeah, I was like, is this supposed to be like she's just started and she's like, wait, I don't want to show my face. Let me put on a stocking.
Yeah, we gotta fix up real quick.
Good first impression. Obviously, it's 25% of the movie.
Yeah,
these are the only scenes they've done.
It's like this is like the abridged version of everything. It's like, so boom, Batman is in My Chemical Romance.
Yeah.
Stop. Put some respect on the Umbrella Academy.
The Riddler. Shout out to Gerard Way. The Riddler, played by Paul Dano, is really into duct tape.
I'm liking it though.
Duct tape.
Fucks with his face is completely covered. His mask is made of duct tape.
I'm with it. I'm sure there's a joke there. I guarantee you.
That ass. Riddle me. This is going back to the 60s, and then
I love it.
There's a little bit we saw of Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman. I was like, all right, Selena Kyle, you out here.
I know, we'll see.
Them boots was platformy. And this dude.
Yeah.
That's Commissioner Gordon.
This dude?
Jeffrey
this
Wright.
guy.
I knew the name and he said this dude. Did you? I just want our listeners to hear how
Jeffrey
he said
Wright.
this dude, and then I said his name.
I just want you to notice that the room that Jeffrey Wright was standing in had no doors. That's a Westworld cut. Nobody wants that? Okay, all right. You know what? Okay, they can't all be winners.
Yeah, that was a sublime segue.
Wow.
Cool.
All right, wow.
All right.
Penises.
Penis, yeah.
Localized.
Localized penises in your area.
So we're feeling this trailer?
Well,
it's a trailer. It's
I mean,
tight. It's tight. It was tight for a trailer.
I'm feeling the teaser that they felt like they had to make when the film is not done.
Can we get another fucking character, please?
Okay, so let's go through these kind of quick because they've all been done before. Suicide Squad.
No, that one hasn't been done before.
They've all been done.
The other one was a music video for this movie.
For this movie.
That other
was
movie,
the teaser.
That was
movie.
25% of James Gunn's Suicide Squad.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
This was a good catfish, then I'm gonna say. Showed up and I was like, oh, this one looks different than I thought. Okay.
The cast of thousands.
My name is Tammy.
Oh my God. Yes. Suicide Squad. There's 1,000 of them.
Yeah.
And they were like, let's have all of them here. And I imagine that like 50% of them are going to die in the first 10 minutes. So I'm ready for that.
Minimum.
Here's to hoping.
Like some big explosion and be like, woo, wow, we had a Suicide Squad. I guess down to 10.
Suicide couple. Suicide few.
They took the beginning of that name real serious and now they're gone. So... I don't know. It looks like it's going to be better because, one, I feel like James Gunn, I think they gave him more
free
leeway.
reign. Oh, yeah.
So I don't feel like there was a studio interaction that would be like, let's ruin this movie. I think he probably was like, let's just have fun. There's like a million of these characters that are wacky and ridiculous and they're going to like kill a bunch of people. They're going to die. It'll be fun. That was it. It was a great way to stay in shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a trailer. It was a teaserist of teasers.
Yeah,
Was it a teaser?
I don't even care where this falls in line with any other previous DC movie work. Like, is this an alternate Earth? I don't even care.
Yeah.
I don't. Just tell a good story, please. Thank you. Move on.
Yeah.
Yep.
100%. Yeah. We're good? Yeah. Wonder Woman now?
Wonder
Did you
Woman.
want to say anything, France?
There's a cast of 22 people in 22 characters in Suicide Squad. I just want to be clear about that.
Just real specific.
Yeah, that got released. Anywho, on to Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman. I don't remember what happened. What happened in this trailer?
Bridesmaids.
What?
Bridesmaids.
You had the huge reveal.
Of Bridesmaids.
That this dude was alive?
Cheetah edition. No, we've seen him before.
Okay, I remember now. Yeah, she gets furry. She has like a Catwoman type of escalation into her villainness. She's like, I'm working at this company.
Oh, you're talking about like a Batman Returns Catwoman type.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Okay, nice.
That's what it felt like. I was like, oh, okay. And then she like literally turns into a big cat. So.
Hey, if Kristen Wiig could pull off that type of performance with Cheetah, I'll take it. But I doubt very much this movie will give us that.
I don't think so. I think it's an interesting, I don't know anything about this villain. I just think it's interesting that this is the one that we're going with right now.
Yeah.
Who, Cheetah?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, Cheetah is Wonder Woman's actual nemesis, like her soldier nemesis.
How and
it's her bane.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She's like one of her top 3 most important villains. Like besides is it Cersei? Is it Cersei?
Yes.
Besides Cersei.
Cersei is all of our villains.
No, but not that Cersei.
DC Cersei.
DC Cersei.
Got it. Not Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones Cersei. Not Lena
ripping
Headey.
up papers.
Although Lena Headey could play this.
The wildfire.
Besides Cersei, and Cheetah would be second, I guess. And Ares, they already started with Ares. I feel like they should have started with Cersei. I don't know why.
Yeah, they really should have.
Actually, I do know why. They didn't want the first Wonder Woman, like, female superhero.
Success.
No, obviously. No. I mean, I think
trend.
I think they didn't want the optics of like the.
2 women?
Yeah, they didn't want. Yeah, that's. I think that's
the what?
2 women fighting.
Yeah.
But aren't these 2 women?
Well, it's the second one.
But this is the
different.
second one and the 4th time we've seen Wonder Woman.
Okay, got it. True.
So that's why.
I was like, this one's 2 women fighting, and one of them is literally a cat. Guys.
You're right. Talk about on the nose.
Literally a cat. But I like Kristen Wiig, so.
The more I'm seeing of Chris Pine, though, who I love.
Sure.
The more they keep showing of him, though, in this movie, the less I'm liking.
Oh, my God.
Like,
I don't care about their relationship.
Like the few fish out of water jokes that they told in the first Wonder Woman where she didn't get why things were the way they were. They seem to be turning that up to 30.
Yeah, for
him.
Right.
But I think it's going to be much.
Yeah, that's like the most sequel type of route to go. Let's make the same jokes, but different.
But more and different.
But like more, but like same laughs.
Yeah. Super
which
bad,
means, like,
but wait for it.
Hey.
They're in college.
Exactly. The Hangover, but they're in Miami. I can't.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
But
back to the point was that
there was a point.
Yes, it was that Cheetah's character is supposed to be overtly sexual.
Oh, okay.
Really?
And highly feminized and strong. And
Kristen Wiig?
Right. I'm wondering how they're gonna roll this out, because they have moments of like an attitude shift for Kristen Wiig's character in the short of the trailer. You still get that attitude shift, but she's supposed to be this like overtly, like flamboyantly DK feminine character that it can also kill you in a second, and is super strong in contrast to the more masculine energy that's supposed to come from Wonder Woman's character. And this works well in comic books because you can draw it. I was like, so I'm really curious how they're gonna like roll that out.
I'm not
but
that
it shows
familiar
up in the trailer in a bunch of ways. When by the time
you were picking up on those little signs.
Yeah, the way the character Chris Williams walks and dresses changes rapidly throughout the trailer.
Throughout even the trailers, yeah.
And by the time she's cheated, she's fully naked in just fur.
Yeah, I saw in the trailer. Yeah, that's true.
You know, and it's like, this is highly stylized. And I was like, all right, this is a very, very close to the comic representation of that character. And then Wonder Woman was wearing the wings of Hippolyta and she got the fucking armor and whatnot.
Yeah.
So they play on that. So far, they play on it pretty well, but I'm curious how it's going to pan out.
I'm not that up on Cheetah. The only
I don't.
thing that I know about her, like that you've added in the more fairly recent storylines of her, is that they try to ground it back to the supernatural aspects of like how she got her powers and where she got them from, and how she needs like the more blood she's able to shed or get, draw from her enemies, like the stronger she gets or some shit like that. I could have swore that they added that to her character, where like now, whereas before, she can hang with Wonder Woman and stuff or whatever in fights, but Wonder Woman was stronger. Now, when she is able to get into that bloodthirsty mode, she could like take a swing at even stronger here, like Captain Marvel. Like she could punch fucking Shazam in the face, shit like that.
This is Cheetah?
Yeah, so that I could have swore I had read up on that aspect, but I have not read any Cheetah-related comics in probably forever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope they make me care.
Yeah, we'll see. Did this also have question marks as a release date?
No, but they keep pushing it.
They keep pushing it, but they stick it hard. Every time they do it, they go hard and fast about where it's going to be in theaters.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I'm tired of all these movie posters with different dates at the bottom.
Yeah. So another 2025. I feel like if everyone said all the movies are coming out in like 2023, they'd be good. I'd believe that.
Nah.
It wouldn't have to be like, it's being pushed again.
I can't wait that long for a Blade movie. Like, let's go. Let's get this going.
Let's get this going. All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening. I know we took a break, so this was a little bit of a longer episode. There's a lot to talk about, a lot to digest, and even more next episode. So catch us next time when we'll probably talk more Lovecraft, because it's like, again, every episode is a movie. And I have no idea what else. I put New Mutants with a lot of question marks.
Mulan, maybe.
Oh, Mulan. Right, yeah. Mulan.
We'll see
They're about to get $90 from us. No.
90. Damn.
You can take my left pinky so I can watch Mulan.
That's Japanese.
I just also, my favorite line from Mulan, which will not be in this movie, is dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow. I know it's not going to happen because Mushu's not in this.
Well, I don't know. Maybe Mushu is in it in a different form, but definitely Eddie Murphy is not.
No. There's going to be like a firework and it's going to be shaped. And you're like, oh my God, I think that's Mushu. You see that callback? That's it. Anyway, catch us next time. Thanks for listening.
Be kind to crickets.
Yes. Good luck, I guess.
Also, Aisha's birthday just passed, so happy birthday, Aisha.
Aw, thanks. Thanks, everybody. I'm a full-grown adult now.